Next, the deadly flu season gets deadlier, pushing this to the worst year we've seen in 100 years. We break down the numbers to see where it's hitting the hardest.
I will never believe the words of another person.
And she thought she was talking to the next love of her life, and then she was out thousands. Why the Better Business Bureau says this happens all the time. Plus, more housing for veterans. We'll tell you who's stepping up to the plate and donating millions to make sure our vets don't go homeless.
Live from KMVT, your source for local news. This is Local 11 News at 10.
Starting tonight with breaking news, a semi-truck rolled over on Highway 93 right near the Filer exit. This is blocking all lanes right now. Idaho State Police are investigating how the truck rolled. A reporter on scene saw multiple ambulances and fire trucks. Twin Falls County deputies were also helping sort out the crash. Police haven't released any information about the people in the truck, but we will update you as soon as we know more. The deadliest flu season ever recorded in Idaho is still claiming lives. The Idaho Department of Health and Welfare reported 8 more flu deaths in the last week of March. That brings the total to 94 as of April 2nd. Most of those deaths last week were in the Treasure Valley. This flu season already passed last year as the deadliest recorded. In the winter of 2016 and 17, the Gem State saw 72 deaths. Experts say this could be the worst year since the Spanish flu in 1918 claimed hundreds of lives. Let's break this down by region. The Panhandle has sustained the most deaths at 36. Central Idaho, mostly the Treasure Valley, has 23. Magic Valley has seen 10, along with southwest Idaho. The Department of Health and Welfare is urging people to still be cautious and says it's still not too late to get the flu shot. A man who shot 2 people and fled in Caldwell late last night is still at large. The shooting happened on Cleveland Boulevard. Caldwell police say the man is armed and dangerous. A witness told police a Hispanic man with light complexion wearing a gray or black shirt shot 2 men and left them. Those 2 were taken to the hospital. Police say the man is driving a 2008 black 4-door Mazda with an Idaho license plate. Mother Nature had Blaine County on high alert this weekend. Here's the latest on the warnings. An avalanche warning expired last night, but the Sawtooth Avalanche Center said there's still considerable danger of slides today. And a 2-day flood watch expired last night too. The Haley Fire Department said it passed without a major incident. They still suggest people be on alert. That's nothing compared to eastern Idaho. Insurance agencies were busy after a hailstorm wreaked havoc on homes there. There's still a lot of damage reported in the neighborhoods in Bonneville County. And check out the size of this hail, bigger than a quarter. And look at it compared to a clementine orange. It did a number to the homes around there, enough for insurance agents and contractors to be out in swarms while people tried to fix the holes in their homes. Heads up, Twin Falls residents, some work is starting on a major roadway. The city of Twin Falls said there will be temporary lane restrictions in the area of Eastland Drive and Pole Line Road, and that starts tomorrow. Traffic will be narrowed and reduced to 2 lanes at times, and left turns will not be allowed in parts. The city wants people to expect delays in the area. The project is to widen a portion of the roadway. They expect this to last through June. Road work is about to begin on a stretch of I-84 too, from the Hanson exit to Kasota Road. And if that sounds familiar, it's because that's the same area that a large project took up most of last summer. Last year was on eastbound lanes on that stretch. This year, it's the westbound lanes. However, traffic will still be cut down to 1 way each direction over spans of time. ITD said this stretch is crucial for commerce and local traffic. They'll mostly follow the same system as last year on the area.
We're pretty much sticking with the same game plan this time around, but again, focusing on, making sure that the workers are out there being safe, the motorists are out there being safe, and that, we can get them through from point A to point B while we complete this work.
ITD will also be replacing several rams throughout the course of the project. They expect it to run through most of the summer. That work was a headache for law enforcement last year. From April to September on that stretch of road alone, there were nearly 50 crashes. That came along with a lot of delays for drivers too. Troopers say most of the problems came from speed.
We saw a lot of cars who would not slow down for their work zone speed coming into traffic that had slowed for it, and it resulted, if anyone in front touched their brakes, it resulted in a lot of rear end type collisions.
ISP said a lot of people would try to get in front of other trucks or cars before it went down to one lane. They say that resulted in more serious crashes. Troopers are urging people this summer to just be patient through the road work. One local woman thought she found love, but instead was scammed out $55,000. Katie Kelleher found out how she lost her money to love.
Betsy signed up for Match.com in March of last year. Quickly, she thought she met someone who would be great for her, a man named Eric. When it came time to meet for coffee, Eric said he had to go to California for a presentation. He then said he was selected to be an electrical engineer for an oil rig in Bulgaria and had to fly there to get the job. Once he got it, he said he needed some help getting a piece of equipment.
I said, well, what do you need? How much money do you need? And he said, well, I need $15,000 for this piece of equipment, and I should be able to pull it together. So I said, well, I can probably help you out if that's what you need. That seems reasonable. If you'd like some help, I'll help you, and we can write up a promissory note, and you can owe me interest and pay me back in 10 days.
Betsy thought that was it until he contacted her again, saying he needed help getting another piece of equipment.
I said, well, don't you have some business contacts? Can't you contact anybody else? You must know some people. And what about other family members? There has to be other sources besides me.
Despite her friends saying not to, Betsy sent him $40,000. After that, Eric tried asking her for more, saying he would pay her back, even sending a check that she still has. There were several times she spoke with someone connected to him about getting the money back, but every time she agreed to meet them, they backed out. The Better Business Bureau says this type of thing happens all the time on dating websites.
These scammers are good at what they do. They coax people in little by little, maybe send them a gift or a little something there to try to lure them in. And little by little, they kind of start this relationship. And, all of a sudden people are giving away thousands of dollars when they normally wouldn't do so.
At one point, she was sent $500, but that was it. Her $55,000 were gone to a man she never met in person.
There's no such thing as face value. I will never believe the words of another person until they've proved that they can be trusted to me.
In Victor, I'm Katie Kelleher.
Now, Betsy has contacted law enforcement and the FBI, but nothing's been done at this point. Betsy's still dating online. She recently found the same man on Match.com and got him kicked off the site. If you or someone you know is ever a victim of a scam, you can use the Better Business Bureau Scam Tracker to report it. It's time for this week's Most Wanted. Twin Falls County is looking for Dwayne Glade Bills. He's wanted for violating the terms of his release on his original charge of possession of a controlled substance. If you have information about Bills, call Crime Stoppers. Their number is 343-COPS. That's 343-2677. You can also submit a tip online, 343cops.com, or download the P3 Tips app on your phone. As always, you can remain anonymous and may be eligible for a cash reward. In world news tonight, after a suspected chemical gas attack that killed at least 40 people in Syria, President Trump is threatening retaliation on the Syrian regime, and for the first time, calling on President Putin to do the same. CBS News' Laura Podesta reports on the mounting pressure.
Tragic images out of Syria show the effects of what first responders say is a chemical gas attack. Emergency workers scrambled to administer aid to babies and children. Rescuers say the gas targeted the rebel-held town of Douma, a few miles from Syria's capital. CBS News cannot independently verify any of these videos or confirm whether a chemical attack took place. Syria's President Bashar al-Assad is suspected of orchestrating the strike, but has denied it.
This appears to be another horrible example of the Assad regime and just incredibly targeted.
In a rare criticism, President Trump called out Russia's President Vladimir Putin on Twitter, writing, "President Putin, Russia, and Iran are responsible for backing Animal Assad. Big price to pay."
It's so important that the president ramp up the pressure and the sanctions on the Russian government, because without the support of Russia, I do not believe that Assad would still be in office.
Saturday's attack comes days after Mr. Trump said he would be withdrawing U.S. troops from Syria. On Monday, President Trump is scheduled to meet with senior military leadership, including his new national security advisor, John Bolton, who has previously advocated for airstrikes against the Assad regime. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Now, a top White House aide, when asked about the possibility of a U.S. missile strike in response to the gas attack, told the Associated Press, quote, "I wouldn't take anything off the table." Coming up, the dangers of baby powder, what this man's lawsuit tells us about the connection between talcum powder and cancer. Later, the biggest art competition in the Magic Valley just keeps on getting bigger.